We'll certainly be happy to receive others that join us. We had such a popular response to this morning's session. It's a training, a pre-training, pre-launch opportunity for our affiliate network throughout the country to take a peek at our new platform for our community, our online community that hosts our ERG registry, the training that Pat Bailey masterfully conducts, and some other features. And so we're very glad that you all could join us. I know that it's been a while with great anticipation for moving to a new platform. So this is again a Salesforce platform known as NGO Communities. And it's my pleasure that Brian Weldon, who has been working with myself and Daniel Lawrence Smith, who will be joining us in a few minutes, and Pat, to really get this set up for you guys, and hopefully you'll enjoy the new features of this program. And Brian Weldon is with Cal Partners, and they are a fantastic organization and agent that has been assisting us with this transition. So I'm going to turn it over to Brian, and he'll take it away with the new program.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Andrea. Yeah, as Andrea mentioned, my name is Brian Weldon. I've been working with the Out and Equal team for a number of months now, getting their Salesforce community configured and up and running. And so excited to show you all kind of a system overview right now of the community, really from the perspective of a community member. And so wanted to walk you through kind of the flow from login and registration all the way to getting into the various groups and participating in those groups and sharing resources and posting information and interacting with others in the various community groups. And so I'm going to start off from the beginning. When your users, or I should say, user activation is going to happen in one of two ways from your perspective. There's a first wave of activations that are going to happen, and that is going to automatically generate welcome emails to the community for those that were in the previous community. And so a user should expect to get an email with some welcome content in which there will be a link to say, okay, get started, get logged into the community. And so they'll click that link. If they've received that email, they will already have a user created in the system. And so they'll come to the login page here. They'll have their login name already plugged in there, and they'll have some instructions for resetting their password. They'll have a temporary password, and they'll be able to reset as soon as they get to this page. At which point, once they've reset it, they'll be able to click login, and they'll be in the community. The second option is if someone wasn't part of a previous community, they're going to have the option of self-registering, of opting into this community. And so on the Out and Equal website, there's going to be made available a link to this login page, all right? So people could log in directly, or if they're not a member, if they're not already a user, if they didn't get that welcome email, they can click the not a member link here, and they're going to be walked through a registration process, whereby some basic information is captured specific to Out and Equal's needs: title, first name, last name, some phone information, basic contact information, as well as some biographical information. They're going to enter their email, which will become their username, and their password. And then, of course, there's the little CAPTCHA, security key down at the bottom there. If someone receives that welcome email, but they don't log in through the email, and then later on down the line they go to create or register their own user in the system, they're going to, when they enter their email here, if they're already a user just waiting to be activated, they're going to get that prompt, and they're going to be taken to the login screen where they'll be prompted to reset their password. They'll get an email, they'll click the login link in the email and follow the instructions to get up and running in the community. And so as soon as they get logged in, they are going to see a view similar to what you're seeing here, all right? They're going to see the Out and Equal logo up at the top here. They're going to see 4 tabs across the top, organizing the various functionalities in the system. They're going to see their username here, and they will they can go ahead and begin participating in the community. And so I want to talk through the various kind of the natural steps once someone gets in. The first thing that they'll likely want to do is update their profile. And so they'll come in, they'll click into their name. They won't see any of this activity the first time. They'll click into their name, at which point they could update their picture here. So you can see MacGyver has his picture there. You could update it, maintain it ongoing. They're going to see a blank slate as far as their feed, what interactions they've been having. They'll have an overview section. This is the overview for their user in the system. And so as people in the community rate them as knowledgeable about certain topics, they're going to show up here. They have the option of entering in information about themselves that's visible to other community members, you know, a little narrative. As they begin uploading files, those files will show up here specific to you know, the person who's uploading them, who owns them. You'll see group participation. You'll see anyone that's following them in the community. We'll talk a lot more about each of these items as we move forward. And they'll see anybody that they're following here. When they click into my profile, they are going to see all of the information that they plugged in during registration. Okay, this is really their connection to Out and Equal and making sure that Out and Equal has all of the up-to-date information for their contact. So they could also upload, you know, update the picture here, but you can see that the profile information that was captured during registration is going to show up here. They can update that, as well as phone preferences. You can update that, and they can capture multiple addresses here. So this My Profile tab is specific to their user. Nobody else is going to be able to see this as they're looking at other users in the system. It's completely hidden, but shared with Out and Equal. On the left-hand side is a public profile for the community. And so if they click on the pencil icon there, they can edit information that they would like to share with the community, all right? And so, you know, I'm just showing Austin, Texas here, but you could, of course, include address information as well. And update the About section. You can put your title in, About Me information there. The important difference is that My Profile is secure to their user and shared with Out and Equal NGO Connect system. And this section here is going to be visible to any other community members who may be trying to reach out to them. Right, I'm going to go back to the Chatter tab here. Up at the top right-hand corner, you're going to see their name as well, at which point they can log out. They can also manipulate their kind of global settings for their account. So set location, date and time language settings, security settings, email settings. We're going to look at these in more detail as we move forward. All right, so once they get in, they're going to want to check out the various groups that have been set up in the community. They can do that by clicking on the Groups tab, or directly from the Home Chatter tab. You can see that there's a Groups link there. Takes you to the same place. We've just organized the tabs across the top to kind of call out that functionality and provide a quicker way to get there. So within the system, within this single community, all of the affiliates, as well as the trainers network, the community of practice, they have all been created as groups. These groups are made up of people. Those people are the individual users in the system. And so once you get logged into the community, you can browse the groups and you can choose which groups you want to join, become a member of, ultimately. You can see here that there are a few views into the groups. We have recently viewed groups, ones that Angus has looked at recently. You have my groups, so if, once you have joined a group, you're going to see your groups, the groups that you're a member of, show up here. Active groups, these are all active groups in the community. And then archived groups. So from time to time, as the community undergoes, maintenance, some groups may come and go, and they may be archived such that you can reference the old material, but new groups have been created to bring people together moving forward. So you would see archived show up there. So when they first come in, they're going to go to active groups because they don't have any my groups or recently viewed. And they can browse the groups here. You can also search. You can just start typing, and the list is going to automatically be filtered based on your search criteria. So I can scroll down. You can see these are in alphabetical order. We have the various affiliate groups: Arizona, Atlanta, Chicagoland. Just scrolling down, you can see the various region-specific groups. You can see I have a demo group here. We're going to look at that in a moment. And then as we get down here, you're going to see the self-ID community of practice, as well as the trainers network group. So you can do two things at this point. You can click into the name of the group to explore more information about it, or you can just join right away. When you join a group, you're associating yourself with that group, and you are going to be receiving the communications in that group or from that group. I'll show you how that manifests in a moment. There are public and there are private groups. All groups are going to be visible in the sense that you can see that they exist, but until you join a group, you're not going to see the members of that group, and you're not going to be able to access the content or participate in the communications within the group. Public groups, or you can join just at the clickable button. You see join here. Anything that's private, which the trainers network is private, you can ask to join. At that point, Pat, in this case, would receive a notification where she approves the request to join the group. All right. So we can click into a group, and we can see here that this is a private group that I have requested membership to, but that membership has not been accepted yet. You can see that the request is outstanding, and I'll see updates when the membership is approved. Okay. We can click into, conversely, a group where I'm a member, like Arizona. And I can see the full description here. I can see other members. We don't have a lot of data right now. So we'll, let's see, perhaps the
Dallas-Fort Worth.
Dallas-Fort Worth. Let's check that one out. All right, so no updates here. We'll take a look at some updates in just a moment. Let me go ahead and approve my membership in the demo group for us. Just going to approve the membership request. bear with me just one second. I want to be able to show you this. All right, and so I am approving the request, and I have accepted it. And so I can see now, as Angus, I am now a member. I was accepted into that group. And so if I click on the group name again, I can now see all of the updates that are occurring in the group. I can see the files associated with it. I can see the members. I can see things that are being recently talked about. I have access to all of the information in that group. And now that I'm a member in the group, I can begin participating in the group. And so I can begin posting various communications. I can just enter a standard post here. So I could say, you know, I can ask a question. Have any good resources on, you know, X, Y, Z? And before I share, I can select. Well, because I'm doing this in the group, it's going to be going to the demo group. And what that means is that anybody in the group is going to receive this communication and have access to it within the community. There's some other things that I can do. I can hashtag various communications. So if I wanted to say, do you have any good resources on? And if I just insert a hashtag and I start typing, you're going to see two things occur. You're going to see existing topics that two people are talking about, so crisis management. So I could just click on that, or I could add a new topic by continuing to type and then pressing enter. We'll add a new topic, and other people can see that as they are entering various posts. And so as people start leveraging those hashtags, you'll be able to see all conversations around various topics. In this case, I'll just select crisis management here. I can also @mention people. So other members in the system, or other users in the system. I could say, if I know that Pat, excuse me, that Pat is a great resource for this, I may @mention her so that it pops up on her screen specifically as priority because she's been mentioned in the post. So anybody in the demo group would see this, but Pat's receiving a special notification because she has been @mentioned in the post. I can share that out. You'll see it show up in the feed here. It's going to pop into Pat's feed, and it will show up for anybody that's in the demo group. So I can do a similar post by uploading files, saying a few things about the file, uploading from your computer, or selecting a file that's already been posted in the community somewhere. Links, another way to post URLs here, and give it a link name, say something about it. You can also send out polls to the group. So if you have a burning question you'd like everybody else's input on, you can enter a poll, and you can add multiple choices, ask the question, and provide your choices. Send it out, and then as people see that in their feed, they can begin responding to that, and everybody will be able to see the responses to that poll. It's pretty neat functionality there. Announcements also a way to post something and put an expiration date on it. So it may be that an event's coming up, or there's a small gathering in a place that's going to happen on a certain date. You can post that announcement and then give it an expiration date. You can also take a look at your other members. I could go into to Pat's user and see what she shared with the community. I can see, her posts here. I can see contact information that she shared with the group here. I can see her overview. I can see she's knowledgeable about crisis management, the group she's a part of, etc. All right. anything I post, I can also delete, okay? And so as posts are coming out in the system, there are administrators who have the ability to moderate any post, right? To remove things that may be inappropriate or to moderate in that way. You can certainly, moderate your own by removing posts or editing posts that you have you've pushed out there. But as a community member, you can also flag something as inappropriate, and so that's just a way of tagging it for an admin to review, and ultimately they can make the decision to remove it or allow it to stand. You can also come in for posts that you have done. We added the crisis management topic here with the hashtag, but I can edit topics as well. So I can come in and I can add additional topics here, like resources, for example. Okay, and but if I am in as another user, I can come in and I can add additional topics to the post as well. So I may see a post that's great for crisis management, but I want to add a topic to it because I'm a part of some other conversations around other topics that this would be helpful for. And so it would kind of pull that into the feed by adding a topic there. And you can see that right here. As I look at Kel Partners posts, I could add some topics right here. Within the group itself, you're going to see the information, the description about the group. You're also going to see your communication preferences specific to this group. So if you click over here, by default, when you join a group, you're going to get their weekly digest. All right, so that's going to include a summary of all of the posting that's been done in that group. But you can always come in and you can modify your communication settings. So you can say, if this is a particularly important group, you can say, send me notification for every post, and you're going to get an email with that information, but you're also going to get a link directly to the post in the community. Daily digest, you could turn off email for the group entirely. You can also link out to your email settings here. And so as we looked at my settings earlier quickly, this email settings location is the same that you would access from here. So two ways to get to the same place. If I open this up, I'm going to see that I can kind of in one go for all of my groups modify my communication preferences. All right, so I could say for the entire community, I'm going to deselect receive emails if I want to opt out of everything. You can see you have a lot of flexibility here. When do I receive a notification and what shows up in my my digest, if it's daily or weekly or real time. Do I want to be notified when people post things on my profile, when they comment on my status, or when they comment after me? You kind of browse through these options, a lot of flexibility. You can also, you have a list view of your groups here. So you can set, weekly digest for one, and you can just go down the line editing those options. As I'm sure you'll be a part of at least 1, 2, 3 groups, you may have different communication preferences for each of those. All right. All right, so groups, as we mentioned, all of the users in the system become people records, right? And those people are joining the groups. You can view people independent of groups, right? And so you can see all of the people, active users, active members of the community here. And you can search by name. And refine your search result, at which point you can just click into a user. Okay. As I mentioned before, you can see their feed, you can see their overview, what information they've shared about themselves publicly. You can see followers and those that are following them. You can also, from here, decide to follow this person, all right? And so just as you can become a member of a group to receive information about that group, you can follow people such that when they communicate or when they post in a group or out of a group, anytime, you're going to get their posts as well. All right, and so you could just click follow, unfollow directly from this list view here. But if you want to dig in and see, what's going on with that person first, you can click on their name. You'll also see pretty quickly if they're an out and equal employee. You'll see out and equal workplace advocates. If they're not, they're going to show up as a customer. Okay, so you can see Angus is a customer here. Some other information you can see about a user here. There's a contribution kind of analytics piece here, and this is all calculated behind the scenes. But as individuals in the community become more and more active, they're going to be scored basically on the number of posts that they're submitting, on the comments that they're making on other people's posts, likes that have been received on their post, etc. And so you'll be able to see that kind of populating out for your community members here. And that gives you a good feel for how active they are in the community. And you can see when you hover over the little information bubble here, you're going to see a little explanation of the 3 different categories they could fall into as they move from observer to top contributors in the community. All right, one other feature with people I should note, which is something we've just enabled, is a private messaging functionality. All right, so we looked at posting and at mentioning someone, which is you're posting it to the group, but you're at mentioning Pat in this case. She's going to get a special notification about that, but it's public still, right? It's shared with everybody who is in the group that you posted it to. If you want to communicate with Pat privately, you have a send a message option here, which you can click. You can see it's already plugged in Pat's name there. You could add other names as well. You just start typing and you can select the other profile there and then include your message. And so it's just a way to communicate directly with other people in the community without posting it publicly. All right, let's jump back to the chatter tab. We've looked at groups, we've looked at people, we've looked at the way you would post directly to a group. The chatter tab is your home tab. You saw your user profile up here. It's going to give you a summary of activity in the system that's relevant to what you are interested in, based on the groups that you're a part of, the people that you're following. And so you have what you call your feed here. You can see there are a few options here. What I follow is the default. Okay, so we're seeing a feed of what I follow. I can see a feed of things that were sent just to me, and so this is where I was mentioned in this post. So this is where it's going to show up. I can also see things that I bookmarked. All right, and so if I go back to feed, I can always come in and bookmark things if they're of particular interest to me by clicking on that drop down. All right, bookmark. I can also add topics, as I mentioned before. I can also come in and I can comment on a post. All right, so particularly if it's a question or something that one user is reaching out to the community for feedback, you can come in, you can comment kind of in line here. All right, I can attach a file as well. And I can hit comment. I can also like the post. All right, and so again, as people are have joined the demo group, they are going to see this post, and then they're going to see the responses that are tied to the posts and who's liking it, etc. You can bookmark it. And you'll see when I do, I get a little bookmark icon pop up there. The search functionality. So you are likely going to want to come in and search for you know, topics or, you know, keywords, you know, whatever it is that to identify conversations that are happening. So you can click that little search icon and you can search the feed. So I could start typing, you know, for the word crisis. All right. And so I see these are all of the feed items that have the word crisis in them, one way or another, be that hashtagged or in the name of a file associated with a post, etc. I also have some filter options for that what I follow feed view. So I could sort and say, okay, just show me groups, files, questions, and I can sort by either the post date or just show most recent activity there. All right, so we talked a little bit about the posting, and we saw that you can post a file as well, kind of embed a file within a post. All of the files that you have access to are going to show up in the File section, all right? And so you can get to it through your sidebar here in the Chatter tab, or you can get to it through the Files tab up top here. All right, so a number of different filters here. I can say, show me all files that I have access to. Show me recently viewed files of mine, anything owned by me, and of course I don't own anything right now, but shared with me personally. You know, files are typically posted to groups, but they can also be shared individually. And so this might, that's where they would show up. And then files that I'm following. I will take a look at that in just a moment. And then you'll see all of your groups that you're a member of. You could see it broken out by group here.
Brian?
Yes.
Yeah, this is going great. I just wanted to flag that there are a few questions in the chat box before we get much further. So then that way we don't have to backtrack, but I just wanted to flag and let you know that everyone is excited about the program and have there are a number of questions. One, just quickly, before we get much further, there was a question in terms of events management. So Ralph Carter out of New York had asked, can communities such as our regional affiliates be enabled for event management?
Well, there is in NGO Connect, which is kind of the underlying application that you're going to be using internally, has the events management functionality. That functionality isn't a part of the community itself, right. And so access could be enabled via licenses to NGO Connect for sure. Correct. But that's the way it would be handled.
Okay. And then you can search people by job title.
Yes, you can just search, and it's a global search, so you can find, you know, find anything that they've included in their public profile.
Right. And then folks are able to create their own groups for committees, etc.
So right now, only administrators can create groups. That's certainly a functionality we can enable. You know, it's kind of restricted up front, but if that's something that you know, you want to open up to anybody to create a group, we can certainly do that. The functionality is there.
So we'll discuss with the affiliate network later about the policies around that, because we do want people to be able to move about freely throughout the system, but we also want to make sure that we're not flooded with all kinds of groups and committees that we're not able to fully administer and support. Mm-hmm. Great. Thank you, Brian. And then one other thing is that, are there URLs that are restricted? Example, Facebook event URL in a Chatter post.
Well, so they're not restricted in the sense that the system's going to stop you. The way most communities are handled. And I kind of referenced this indirectly before in terms of moderation, is that as posts are made that are inappropriate or irrelevant, all of the community members have the ability to say, you know, flag this as inappropriate for whatever reason. And so as we've seen that the most successful communities are those that are really self-moderating, right? And so you have a few people that may come in and post something, but the community quickly, you know, flags that and kind of keeps the, you know, the standard rules in place, you could say.
Great. And then one other comment is from Miguel. He says, this seems to be better than LinkedIn. It is, Miguel. It is. But don't tell LinkedIn that. All right. Thank you, Brian. We'll let you continue, and certainly I'll flag you if there's some urgent chat.
All right. Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for pausing for those questions. Definitely want to make it as relevant as possible. Okay. All right. So we saw files. You have a few actions here. You can click preview, and you can see the document kind of in that preview form here. I can zoom in. I can expand full screen, etc. All right. So you can see it without downloading it. You can make that decision first. You can also come in and you can share this document with other people, and you can share it with other groups. All right. So a document that's posted is typically posted to a group, or I should say, you always select the group or groups that you're going to post that document to. All right. And so you may be a part of a group that is someone shared a great resource in, but you're part of another group, and you think that group could benefit from that resource. And so you can always come into the document and share with a group, select that group. Now, of course, you have to be a member of that group as well. So when I come in, I select the groups. I just see the 4 groups that I'm a member of. I can say, I want to share this with Atlanta. All right. And then I can add my message here to say, hey, check out this great resource that came up in you know, this other group. And so you can share in that way. Let's see, sharing settings. You can just see kind of the general sharing settings for the file. You can see any user in the community does not have access, but we have an owner and we have viewers in the demo group here. This gives you a little preview of how that document's shared. You can also download directly from here, and you can also click into the document to see some more details. Right, you got the little preview here. You can see that any followers of the document are here. So just like people, just like the ability to follow people, you can follow documents, which is very helpful if you've got you know, a great resource that is going to be updated from time to time. There's version management in the system, so whoever owns that file can just update the document, and so the same link to the file is out there. And if you're following that document, then you'll get a notification that it's been updated. You just click the link, and you've got the updated version of the document. Of course, you can manage your following settings. You can just click to stop following. You can see who it's shared with. You can see a description, should there be one. You can see the versions, all right? So we only have one version here, but if I had multiple, I could go back in and I could download the older versions, should I need to, or preview it straight from here. You can see that this document has actually been flagged. I flagged this as inappropriate. And so I could come in and remove my flag here on this document. I can download the file itself here, and then again, just check out the sharing settings that I saw before. And so flag is inappropriate or remove flag. Those are the options. All right, you'll see throughout the system some recommendations. All right, so there's some algorithms run behind the scenes that say, okay, based on the groups that you're in and the people that you're following, I want to make recommendations about groups, about people, and about files that we think you may want to either join, if it's a group, or follow, okay? And so you're going to see that pop up in the sidebar in a number of areas, but you can see it on the chatter tab directly here. You can see that, you know, Simon Test, one of our test users here, he follows the same people that I do as Angus. And so I may want to follow Simon because, you know, he's in those same conversations, right? There are groups recommended because there are group members that I follow in these groups. And so I may want to check out those groups and join them as well. And people, of course, another recently viewed by me, this contact record. Trending topics. Let's talk a little bit about topics. We've mentioned them from one way with hashtags, right? You can add topics to any post, and you can edit topics for posts that other people have made. You can also go directly into topics so that you can see which topics exist in the community, and you can see the activity that is happening around those topics. All right, so I can see crisis management, 2 people are talking. I could star this as, you know, a topic that I'm basically bookmarking here. I can also dig into the topic, and I can see all of the activity that has occurred around that topic. So anything that had been hashtagged, I can see knowledgeable people in that topic. All right, so I can see Angus is knowledgeable about crisis management as well as Pat. And, you know, I can, at that point, dig into Pat's record, and I may want to start following her if I haven't been following her. I can also endorse people for topics. And so, you know, as you fully engage in the community, and as people, you know people are subject matter experts on certain topics, endorsing people is a great way to kind of help call people out as the experts and call people to follow them as they're, you know, more frequently communicating about certain topics. So I could say endorse people, and I can come in here and just start typing a name. And as I do, I'll see I have Daniel show up here, and I always do that. I click on the name. If you click on the name, you're going to go to his record. I'm going to go back, and I could just click on endorse, and that will endorse him for the topic. Okay. All right. You can also see files that are associated with the topics. You can see groups that are talking about those topics. So there's a lot of cross kind of communication through these various functional components to help point you to the areas that you may want to explore more, join, or follow. In the Files section, or I should go back. Actually, we already talked about that a little bit, and the ability to post a file. So if I wanted to post a file here, I can select my file, I can say something about it. And then when I post from the main chatter tab, I can select to just post this to my followers. So anyone who's decided to follow me is going to get this in their feed, or I can select a group and select the groups I want to post to. All right. Let's see. Topics, communication preferences, we've already looked at that. Contribution, private messaging. You know, I have my favorites and my topics here. They're going to show up here. Let me pause to see if there are any other questions we want to address.
I can ask, just to clarify a couple of things. I was responding to a couple of questions while you were moving forward.
Great.
So Jennifer had asked, or actually, I'm sorry, Cheryl had asked, just to clarify that for each of the the groups for the affiliate groups. There's a leadership group. I want to make sure I understand, and maybe Cheryl, you can provide some further clarification. But each of the affiliate groups, again, will have, similar to what we had before, a manager or managers or people that will be promoted as administrators of that particular group. And then that way you can kind of flag and know who's in the group. The other is the email that will go out, the welcome email. That will be going out to everyone that was registered in the ERG registry. So we did migrate all of the contacts, all of the up to at least up until, I believe, about a month or so ago, everyone that was registered, and had moved them over to the new site. So they will be receiving that email. We expect to have that go out next week. So we'll be open for business, so to speak, next week. The other question is Cheryl, yeah. So Cheryl is just asking if the leadership councils will have separate access to chat, files, links, etc. So again, Brian, each of our affiliates has a leadership council. It's something like a mini board of directors for each affiliate. And so I think the question is that will they be able to kind of just chat amongst themselves and not to the broader affiliate community?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah.
And I think, there are a few ways to handle that. Probably the best way to handle that is just to create a new private group for that, set of people, and to say, okay, the group's out there, join this group. It will be a private group, so they'll have to click ask to join, and ultimately there will be an owner to the group who will accept those, requests. So it'll be a self-contained group.
Right, exactly. Okay. And then Kevin, Kevin, how will new chapters such as Orlando have access? What we will do, Kevin, is make sure, because Orlando came on, Brian, after we made the migration. They're our newest affiliate. So we will make sure that your list as it exists right now, and anyone else, will do that separately, and that they will also, we'll make sure that they will get a welcome as well, an invitation. So not to worry, we've already considered that. And the same with Detroit. I do, however, think that Detroit was able to have some registrants prior to our migration, but I don't think very many. It was pretty quick turnaround. But for Orlando and for Greater Michigan, we will make sure that folks in your area are aware. And one last question is, Andrea, will we have time to do some testing prior to going live for all affiliate members? Yes, we had actually, so before we'll probably just have a couple of days to do that. We'll arrange that. I had invited Ralph Carter, who's asking the question, and Mike Craig, in particular, out of our Houston affiliates, because they were so adept at the other system, and just so that they can kind of do a little testing. If anyone else is interested, please let me know. But just to let you know, I did kind of tap those two as our scout ants, so to speak, to really go through and check it out. But if you have any other questions or any interest in being a part of that, and again, that'll probably be something for just a day or two before we actually launch. And if there's something that they see that we can flag that says this would work better for our group, then we will work with Brian, for our network rather, then we'll work with Brian to upgrade in that regard. How's that, Ralph? So, yeah, well, I thought she said they are from Houston. Oh, sorry, Eliza. So we will have Mike Craig, if he's still available, who's from our Houston affiliate, and then Ralph Carter, who is from our New York Finger Lakes affiliate, our major scout aunt from the affiliate network, to do some beta testing before we go completely live. Any other questions? We are about 3 minutes away from the end of our session. And so I want to make sure that while we have Brian online, if there's anything that you want to ask him directly, certainly share with the group so that we can all benefit. But while we have his expertise, we want to make sure we take advantage of that. Andrea from Ralph, would be good for all leaders to have the leader group enabled immediately for chat and our growing pains into the new system. Okay, so we will take a look at that, Ralph, and we appreciate that. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. The other thing, just another good plug, and Daniel, Brian, I think Daniel Lawrence Smith, D. Smith, is on with us, and if you can unmute him, that would be great.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure, let me do that now.
And so, again, many thanks to Daniel for, Daniel Lawrence Smith, as you all know, is our senior manager in the development department, and his focus is primarily on individual giving, but has been absolutely amazing as we've been going through this process to transition to Salesforce. And not only using the Salesforce platform for this community, just so, again, you know that Out and Equal organizationally is really making a leap to be a part of the Salesforce platform for fundraising, for a whole host of other data and record keeping and communication. So this isn't just pertaining to this particular program for the ERG registry and for training, but certainly extends to other areas of the organization. So one last plug that I wanted to make is that there will be an app. We had promised that wherever we move to, that there would be a mobile feature to this. And I don't know if Daniel wants to say a little bit more about that.
Yeah, well, thank you, Andrea. And I'll let Brian weigh in on the functionality of the app, which is called Salesforce One. And just to Andrea's point, this has been an organizational effort, so we're seeing Salesforce communities implemented as phase 1 of our rollover to Salesforce, but what we're doing internally is rolling over all of our platforms, so our event registrations, our constituents who joined with us at Summit, and other regional events. So what we'll begin to see is a consolidation of all of our data, and our hope as this relates to the regional affiliates is that this will create a pipeline for even more membership and more engagement, and really an effective tool to talk to all of our many members. And I'll now let Brian weigh in on the mobile ability of Salesforce and communities.
Yeah, sure. So communities are actually accessible through your browser on your phone. It's fully optimized for mobile devices. They're not leveraging Salesforce One per se. There are many other parts of the platform that are, but communities in particular are accessible via your mobile browser and optimized for mobile devices. So you'd be able to interact with the community in the same way on your phone as you would directly, on your PC here. So
similar to, LinkedIn or Facebook, or any of the other social networks?
Yes, just to be clear, it's through the browser, though. You would have a URL that you would access as opposed to an application that would be separate from the browser.
Okay. Great. Any other questions? It is at the end of the hour, and so, Brian, is there anything else that you feel is absolutely like, oh my gosh, we got to make sure that we go through this, otherwise people won't get the full benefit of the program.
Right.
Anything you want to leave us with?
Yeah, I would just say that we have had some other training sessions, kind of internal to Out and Equal. Today's focus was on the community member experience, what they can do, understanding that many of you may become moderators, and some may become owners of groups. That functionality that you asked about adding groups, we've covered that in some other recorded training sessions. So. I imagine those will be made available as needed, but certainly as you get in as an owner, the functionality is going to look just the same. There are going to be some additional buttons here and there to allow you to do that more of a group management moderator functionality. So I'll leave it at that.
Okay, great. We have one last question from Cheryl from Rocky Mountain affiliate. When will we get a link to test with our council? So this kind of goes back to Ralph's question in terms of let's make sure that folks, for instance, online today, and again, these folks, Brian, are the folks that were either managers from the previous site, or they are, affiliate leaders and/or affiliate leaders. So what we could do is folks that we had invited to the call is to get them linked in. They can be a part of some of the beta testing before we push this out. But again, just to clarify, I really am hopeful that Ralph and Michael in particular, we want feedback from everyone, most definitely. But Ralph and Mike, we will kind of look to for perhaps we can have them manage some of the feedback. We'll figure that out offline with Ralph and Michael. But we can get a link to test. I imagine that we can maybe we can do that, if not today, then on Monday. So.
Yeah, I can certainly take care of that. I just need a list of those individuals and get them activated.
Right. Great. So, Brian, thank you so very much. And